What's up, guys? Welcome back to Achilles Sports. You know how we do it. Chelsea on Saturday had a formidable performance against Chesterfield in the FA Cup. We saw most of our counterparts or our neighbors, the backyard people, dropping it out of the FA Cup, and Chelsea have been able to go through once again. This is a team that probably we shouldn't forget. They are doing marvelously very well this season. Forget about the situations we are going through, forget about what has been happening. But hey, in general performance, they are doing perfectly well. And remember, don't forget, we are still second in the league table and we can still fight for the title. And today, you know how we do it. We're going to go through the performance of individual players on Saturday's FA Cup against Chesterfield. And that is exactly what we're going to do. No hard feelings. Whoever perform well, we give it out to him, we give it out to them, and probably we see how our individual performance are performing. Are they going are they up to expectation or they are below expectation? And that's what we're going to do currently. That's what we're going to do currently. And without much ado, let's get into it. So today, I'll be sharing my screen with you so that you'll be seeing the player that we'll be doing. We'll be talking about. I think that one will give it very interactive than than uh than just talking about him without us seeing him. And probably this is a first time, and this is the second time we are doing this, and we still have a lot of loopholes, and we'll be able to settle it up. So probably who are we actually going to start with? We are going to start with Bettinelli. We're going to start with Bettinelli, Marcus Bettinelli. As you all see in the screen, Marcus Bettinelli is a goalkeeper, a third goalkeeper of Chelsea FC. Edward Mendy absence. There's been a lot of pressure on Kepa, and Kepa has been keeping for Chelsea. He's been doing very well for Chelsea. And don't get me wrong, Bettinelli was given the opportunity, his first opportunity in let's say his first opportunity in goal post, and he did perfectly well for Chelsea. Just that as he came, remember it was a free transfer. We had him in the summer, and he did very well for Chelsea though, but he didn't have much to do on that day. But allowing a goal, conceding one goal, and without going on clean sheet, allowing Chesterfield to have a goal, and it's not. I can't blame him that much. That was his first goal post for Chelsea. So my I'll give him my rating for Bettinelli. Marcus Bettinelli will be 6.9. 6.9, not hard feelings. 6.9 for Bettinelli. He did very well. He didn't have clean sheet. If he had clean sheet, probably it could have go other way around. And he didn't do much that day because midfield and defenders were marvelously doing very well, and there wasn't much to do for Bettinelli. So it's 6.7. Probably we could think of other things. Maybe next time if he performed very well, he could be able to upgrade. And I know he's a keeper who can still do much for Chelsea. Probably looking forward to he stays in Chelsea team. Now, now the next player that will be going with, I think the next player we should be going in with is who? Who was there? Which player was there, guys? Remind me because it was on Saturday. I can't probably. It was on Saturday and not hard feelings. No hard feelings right now. No hard feelings. And the player that we can probably go next maybe could be Callum Hudson Odoi. Let's go for Callum Hudson Odoi. Callum Hudson Odoi is a player that I always admire. That's why, and last match performance was absolutely brilliant from him. That's why I'm jumping from defense to Hudson Odoi. Defense to Hudson Odoi. Where is he? This guy, this my dude here. this my dude here. Probably he's just proven me right. Last match, he was on point. Everything was on point for him. He could have scored a lot of goals. He could have scored a lot of goals for Chelsea, but netting a goal again, netting a goal was absolutely marvelous. And that was the second goal he netted. The way he passed, the way he placed the ball, it was just absolutely fabulous finish made in a second goal by Callum, Hudson, Odoi. He did very well, and the keeper has nowhere to touch the ball. The keeper has nowhere to touch the ball, and he was replaced by Rose Barkley in the 65th minute, and I still think Callum Hudson Odoi can do more for Chelsea. He can still do more for Chelsea. He Look, he's still coming to be at his best. If I hope Chelsea fans, you know him when he was in academy, when he started, and if this guy is able to get to his best, he's unstoppable for Chelsea. He's unstoppable for any club against Chelsea. And for that matter, the goal he netted and the performance he put out last match, I'm going to give him 8.2. 8.2 for Callum Hudson Odoi. If you think otherwise, smash it in the comment section and we'll go into it. Callum Hudson Odoi was on point on Saturday against Chesterfield. I just hope he keep it up for us. I just hope he keep it up for us. And no hard feelings. And that is exactly what we are all about. Chelsea, we are all about performance. If you don't do your due diligence very well, you won't be able to take part in this selection. And Callum Hudson-Odoi performed this well. I think he will always be Tuchel. He will always be part of Tuchel selection. He will always be part of Tuchel, and he will always be in the selection if he's able to be performing this match each time out he pull out for Chelsea or he put on Chelsea JC, and absolutely on point. And my rating for Hudson Odoi is 8, no more no less. He didn't even complete the match. He was substituted in the 56th minute for Rose Barkley, who came on. And I understand Tuchel gives a lot of players chance and opportunity to prove themselves, and that is good for the club. Whatever he does is the betterment of the club, and that's why the fans love him. Who next should we go for? I think we should go back to defense. Christensen. Christensen for me was also another player who cracked himself just coming back from injury, and he was also able to pull out this performance. Was always something we have been looking for. Christensen, for me, did absolutely marvelous on that day. We didn't expect that from him, even netting the third goal. We didn't expect it from him. We didn't expect it from him because he was just coming back from injury. And he didn't like he didn't have to run back towards his goals often because he was able to deal with the left or the left wings of Chesterfield, and that is why he was participating in the game. He was moving forward, and at the end of the day, getting a spectacular header goal for Chelsea as a third goal, which for me was absolutely marvelous moving forward for Christensen. Christensen had injury and he came back and had this goal. And for me, my rating for Christensen is 8. He had 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. Christensen did absolutely very well last game. Don't forget, people are saying nah, it was Chesterfield, it was what League One team. Look at our our backdoor neighbors. What happened to them yesterday? That is the game for you. If you lose your guard, England for you, you are going out. Even Tottenham themselves was very lucky to go through yesterday. Tottenham was also they had, and don't mind me, we have Premier Leagues for teams fallen from these League One teams. And Chesterfield is not a small, they are leading the league. And for Chelsea to put out that performance out there. I was absolutely waiting for Chelsea to get there. That I was waiting for Chelsea to just get that clean sheet, and Bettinelli couldn't get the clean sheet for us. And this is Christensen performance we are talking about. 8 out of 10. If you think otherwise, smash it in the comments below. You know how we do it, my fans. You know how we do it. Let's move on. Which player should we move on to next? I think the player we should be going in for is Malang Sarr. Let's talk about Malang Sarr. Malang Sarr is always he did very well last game. He did very well. He did very well for me. I don't know about you guys. Malang Sarr for the past 2 games have stepped up for Chelsea. And this is what we are talking about. He has stepped up very well because his services are needed. His services are needed, and he did very well for Chelsea. No doubt Chelsea just took him also a transfer window last summer. Oh no, that was last 2 seasons during Lampard era. He was loaned to Benfica. He played there for a season. When he came back, he didn't have much to do in Chelsea because he loved Chelsea. He wanted to stay, and he didn't go on loan again. And for him to be called and he put out this absolutely performance is something that we should be looking out for. And for me, even though he did very well in the back, but allowed one of their just one player to pass him and score the goal was something that I wasn't happy with. But in general performance for the past 2 games, he has been absolutely brilliant for Chelsea. And my rating for him is 7 for Malang Sarr. I give him 7 for Malang Sarr. To be frank, he did very well. We cannot dispute the fact that he did very well in the defense. He was calm, and his distribution even improved much better. And you could see all of them are learning from the best himself, and from the what do you call it? The skipper himself, Thiago Silva. All of them are learning those kind of passes from him, and that's one thing I love about Chelsea defense. They are young, and they are ready to learn, and they are ready to fight for their club, and that is absolutely best for Chelsea. And I love these guys. And Saturday, this performance was absolutely brilliant and on point. And if they're going to keep up this performance, I don't see Tottenham even getting a goal in their home yard on Wednesday. And we're just going to give it to them on Wednesday and then get to finals and take this cup. And as I said, for me, my best for Chelsea this season is 2 or more trophies. No less, no more. 2 or more. No less, no more. 2 or more. That is what we are destined for. And Chelsea, as a club, we always want to be on top. Now, the next player we should be going is a surprise moment for a lot of players. It's a lot of Chelsea fans. A surprise that they've been looking for, and the academy boys are showing us. They are showing us that they could actually do it for Chelsea. The academy boys are perfectly on point whenever they are called up into the league or into the first team for what they are known for. And this young boy has been registered as a midfielder for Chelsea, and he's too tall. He's too tall for Chelsea in the left back on that day. Lewis Hall, just 17 years old boy, 17 years old boy to have performed this kind of magic performance for Chelsea and ended up assisting for the second goal, Lukaku scoring, is absolutely marvelous on point. And he was my man of the match on that game, even though I had change of mind. My previous video on that match day, I said Hakim Ziyech was absolutely brilliant on that day, and he was my man of. But I changed of mind because looking at the instances, 17-year-old boy called up to the first team, and the way he was calm in the defense, the way he was distributing his movement into the opponent yard and ended up assisting is just something amazing and marvelous for me. And he was my man of the match. He was my man of the match. And if you think otherwise, my fans, smash it on the comment section. Let's get into it. And I rate him 9/10. And this kind of players, if Chelsea are able to keep them, they are the players that can be regenerated from academy to the first team. And we have players who have already done it, and these players can equally do it. He will be one of the best defenders or one of the best players in Chelsea coming up from academy to um first team. I won't forget about this guy, Hal. Is it Val as a striker? The last time he proved me very well, and he was better in the up front against Wolves in Premier League. And we had another one in the right wing who performed very well for me. Chelsea, and don't mind, believe it or not, we still have another player that's Xavi Mbuyamba. Xavi Mbuyamba is still looking forward to play for the first team. These academy boys are just doing it for Chelsea. And my rating for Lewis Hall is 9/10. And he was my man of the match on Saturday. He did very well for Chelsea. Believe me or not, he did very well for Chelsea. And maybe a few hours time, we'll be giving you the match. I will be going on Facebook Live on the African Cup of Nations, Ghana, Morocco. It's a tough match that we should be. So you can join us on Facebook in few hours time. Now, which player should I go next? Which one? Which one should I go next? Because this player, I'm so buzzing and I'm so happy that Chelsea are able to make it. And then our back neighbors, most of them didn't make it, and most of them find it very difficult to go through. That shows how Chelsea is when it comes to our neighbors. London is blue, the sky is blue. If you don't love blue, what will you love again? And our next player will be Saul for me. Saul in the midfield again for Chelsea. I think, as I said, for the past two games, Saul have been marvelous. Saul has been an instrumental player for the past two games for Chelsea. And Miami, that is what we had expected from him the last time. That was what we expected from him when we took him from Atletico Madrid, because he's not a small player. He's a player that a lot of people respect. And when he came to Chelsea, maybe the intensity of Premier League has been difficult for him. He has not been able to adapt. And for him to pull that magic on that two games, just the last two games, is something we should be talking about. And this guy, oh my God, against Tottenham, he was paired with Jorginho, and they were absolutely brilliant on that game. And that game, he stepped up. And the game against Chesterfield, he was paired with Kova again, and he stepped up again. Just got one yellow card, just got a yellow card in the game. And it's something that we shouldn't forget. He did very well. The Spaniard played 90 minutes, which shows that he is improving, and Tuchel has seen that he's improving. I told you that coach we have is a tactical magician. A tactical magician people don't see. And the way he's able to bring the best out of players is at different level. It's at different level. For him to see Saul pairing with Jorginho will work for Chelsea, and also paired him on Kovacic. That means that he's just trying something better, and Chelsea will improve. We are still going to fight for the league title. Don't get me wrong. We will go for City. We'll go hard on them. And winning on Wednesday against Tottenham, and also going to City home yard at Etihad Stadium, I believe we are going to win against them. Don't get me wrong. We are going to win against them. Everyone has his bad man, and our players are back. For Sawo, I rate him 7.5/10 because he did very well last game. He played 19 minutes. He played 19 minutes. Yes, he played 19 minutes, and he's absolutely brilliant now for Chelsea. Now, our next player that we should be going is the man himself. Or should we go for another person before him? No. I think since we are talking about midfield, we should not forget about him. We should just go straight for him. He is the man that a lot of people think he's underrated. He's a man that a lot of people don't see, that he's absolutely brilliant in Premier League. Kovacic. Kovacic is a player that I always think he's brilliant, and he's someone, he can do everything. He can do everything for Chelsea in them when it comes to midfield. He can do everything for Chelsea when it comes to midfield. Kovacic step up his game in the last game in Stamford Bridge FA Cup against Chesterfield. And this guy, for me, is, when it comes to dribbling, he's the best. When it comes to creating chance, he's the best. He just led with one moment just to add shooting to his game. We saw what he did against Tottenham in Stamford Bridge in the EFL Cup. He performed marvelously well last game, and also did very well in this game against Chesterfield. Is something that I'm still looking for, even though he played 45 minutes in the game before he was replaced by Loftus Cheek. The guy is on point always. He's always on point. He's dribbling, like stepping up, just bypassing one player, two players, and creating the chance for Chelsea is something we missed a lot when he was injured. And now he's back, and he's back at his best, and he's doing it again. And my rating for Kova is 8 out of 10 in this game. I could even put it 8.5 because he was very instrumental in the midfield for Chelsea. And my rating for, I will change my mind, 8.5 out of 10 for Kovacic. This is something that I've been looking forward for him to come back to his best ways. And believe me, if all these players are their best, which team will battle against Chelsea and wouldn't be afraid? Even City is always afraid facing up Chelsea because we have this kind of caliber of players who are doing it for us. Who are doing it for us. What do you think, guys? Put your comments, put your suggestions in the comment section. Let's do it because we are in the midfield. We are in the midfield and we are moving up front. And the up front did very well for Chelsea on that game because it's something that we've been lacking. Scoring is always the problem for Chelsea. And for Chelsea to score 5 goals in a match is something that we should be happy with. It's something that we should be happy with. And Kovacic being there, coming back to do what he loved doing is something that I'm absolutely buzzing for. And these players we are having currently, if we're able to keep them, if we're able to nurture them very well, we can defend the Champions League. That's what I'm always looking for. The day Chelsea will start defending Champions League, even though it's just our second Champions League trophy we had. But hey, we can defend the Champions League. Assuming all of them are back, even though Ben Chilwell is out for the season, is out for the rest of the season, but we can fight for the title. We can fight for the title and we can defend Champions League. We can defend Champions League. This transfer window, look at Lewis Hall. Look at what I absolutely think. If they give him the opportunity, he'll be able to perform for Chelsea. And Tuchel already said it. We are taking our time to go in for the best. We are going for quality, not quantity. So they are assessing the situation to see where they should be able to enhance. So don't worry, my fans, don't worry, Chelsea fans. We'll be able to do it for the club. The players can be able to do it. We are going next to who? Which player do you think we should go next for? My people, which player? Oh, no, since we are moving up front, let me go to the player that I thought he performed absolutely very well for Chelsea on that day. He did very well for Chelsea on that day. Which player? It's Hakim Ziyech. Hakim Ziyech is a player, the four back is been working for him, and for the last 2 games, as I said, we are very lucky that Morocco didn't call him for the AFCON. And the last 2 games is just an example of this nature. And I know our people are buzzing for him. He's just proving his haters otherwise. This guy is absolutely brilliant. I don't know whether the fallback is something that brings the magic out of him or he's just at his best right now. Let's wait and see. And it's something that I've been asking myself, and I'm going to ask you guys. Do you still think Tuchel should keep the fallback, or we should change to three back if all the players are fit? Because they were saying, a lot of people were saying, when it comes to fallback, Chelsea cannot perform. But hey, we've been able to perform the fallback perfectly well without even Thiago Silva. Without Thiago Silva, Chelsea did very well in the fallback. And I think we can be changing the formation, maybe depending on the match. And Tuchel knows best. He's a tactical magician. His decisions are not to be questioned currently. His decisions are not to be questioned currently. And for this, my guy here, to have performed the two games as he has done, he would have been my man of the match. I nearly gave him my man of the match in the first day, but Lewis Hall performance and the age and the way he was calm in the defense took the man of the match away from Hakim Ziyech. His linkage from the midfield to up front, his crosses, his passes, believe me, it was something that he will be. He even scored a goal for us, a penalty goal for Chelsea in the, is it the last goal or the fourth goal? Yeah, that was the fourth goal. And believe it or not, this guy is absolutely nailing it currently for Chelsea. If you think otherwise, put it in the comment section. And my rating for Hakim Ziyech in the FA Cup against Chesterfield in Stamford Bridge is 8.7 out of 10. 8.7 out of 10. I would have given him 9, but hey, I still know Hakim Ziyech haven't been his best. If he's at his best, even Real Madrid are shaking. If you are facing Real Madrid, they are shaking. Barcelona will be shaking if you are facing him, because this guy is absolutely a brilliant class player that Chelsea is having currently. And I hope he stay and fight more for his position. And I know he can still get it and he can still do his best. That's why I'm giving him 8.7 when it comes to the last game FA Cup against Chesterfield. And this, my dude, will be moving the next minute, will be the man that I would love to see him perform his best for Chelsea, and that is Pulisic. Pulisic for this season hasn't been his best for Chelsea. And one thing I love about him, not that he's not been good. He's been good. He's not been playing at his favorite position. He's not been playing at his favorite position, and we can rate him based on that. But for the last match, for him to play the right wing for Chelsea again is something that I think Christian Pulisic can play from right wing. He was tried at the left wing, and he also tried in the number 10 position, and number 10 position has been absolutely brilliant for Chelsea. And even the left wing is, when you put him at the left wing, is always his best for Chelsea. And I think Christian Pulisic has been nailing it for Chelsea, and he can still be at his best. Last season, we saw him scoring a couple of goals, and Lampard era, he was able to deliver Chelsea in certain matches. And last season, he was able to deliver Chelsea in certain matches too, even though he still have to improve more. And if they are fit and they are up and doing, Chelsea can take the trophies and win a lot of matches for the club. And my rating for Pulisic, even though last game he did very well, but it wasn't all that best for me. It wasn't all that. And I know he can still improve. And for him not to net a goal, for me, he missed a couple of chances he could have scored. And he was in scoring position, but couldn't able to net, and was a little bit awful for me with the ball. And I rate him 7.1 for Christian Pulisic in last Saturday FA Cup against Chesterfield. And believe me, is something that not hard feeling, no hard feeling. We are giving them the performance that they deserve, and that's absolutely what I'm doing currently. And the next person we should be going is not other person than the man that who has been struggling a lot since coming back to Chelsea, and a lot of Chelsea fans has been supporting him. And that's one thing I love about Chelsea. They know the player very well. They know what the player can do, and they still believe the player can do best for their club, and they still love him. And he has been struggling, and everybody see that the player is working hard to come back to his best. And that's why a lot of fans still support him. And he's in the person of Timo Werner. Timo of Werner. He's an absolutely brilliant player. Just that the scoring is always his problem since arriving in Chelsea. And the last game for him to net as the first goal in the game was absolutely buzzing for us as a Chelsea fan, and for him himself coming back from injury, and this is his first goal. He has been out for quite a long time, and for him to net that goal against Chesterfield will boost his confidence moving forward. His runs was absolutely fantastic, and running in behind and stretching them was perfect for him. And his run actually gave Lukaku the his stretching actually give Lukaku the goal Lewis Hall assisted. And believe me or not, this guy can still improve and he can still do better. He just doesn't need to think a lot about the goal. As Tuchel always tell him, the goal will come. It's just like when you are married and your wife travel and leave you alone. You still need to do everything by yourself until she is back. It's just the same thing, and the goals will come. Timo Werner should just relax. The goals will come. He should relax. The goals will come. And my rating for him for this game on Saturday against Chesterfield is 8.1, because for him to get the opener for Chelsea is absolutely very good. And he was able not to complete the game. He was out for Kai Havertz to come in later on the game. But hey, he is doing very well. This goal was absolutely brilliant for him moving forward. So we are moving to the man himself, the man who always wants to score, the man who always wants to win. And at the end of the day, he was desperate to win and score goals and ended up messing up things for Chelsea the last time. But hey, we don't want to talk about it. He was doing it because he wants to win. He wants to score more goals for Chelsea. And he thought he deserved more time to play for Chelsea. And Tuchel wanted him to fit into the team before he used him. He misplaced the judgment and he misbehaved, and he was punished for it. And I love the way the club handle and the way the fans get back to support this guy. Romelu of Lukaku. Romelu Lukaku is a fantastic player. He always explains how he loves Chelsea, how Chelsea is his childhood club, and he always wants to wear the jersey for Chelsea. And last game was I wanted him to be benched for the game, and Tuchel deemed it right to use him because, and I understand. I understand it because he missed scoring and he needs to score. And for him to score in that game will bring the scoring back and will bring his confidence back. And for him to be paired with Timo Werner and both of them have scored in this game is absolutely buzzing and is absolutely brilliant for Chelsea. And Lukaku did very well in his area. His hold-up play was on point, holding up defenders for Chelsea players to arrive. He could have assisted so many goals in that game, but hey, most of the guys didn't, didn't able to convert the chances. And for him to net also the third goal for Chelsea is absolutely buzzing for me. And he's taken off halftime. He was taken off during the halftime. And hey, he's a player who can still net the goals for Chelsea, and that's exactly what he was bought for. And that's why he's crying to get that goals fast and fast for Chelsea. And my rating for Lukaku is 8.3 in the game against Chesterfield in the FA Cup in Stamford Bridge. And absolutely, he can still improve coming back from injury. And third goal he has scored since coming back from injury. And I know he can still do more for Chelsea. And there are a lot of games to still go on. We still have Champions League, League Cup, and we also have FA Cup, and we also have Premier League. We can still fight for the title. And for him to actually score this goal will boost his confidence moving forward. Now we are going to go for the substitutes, where the first person that I will go in the substitute should be the man himself, the fighter. I always call him the fighter because no one thought he could actually come back and do what he is doing. And guess who it is? Guess, my guys, guess who it is? Guess who it is before I move on? Guess who it is? And it's in the person of Loftus Cheek. Loftus Cheek, no one expected him to come back the way he did, given the instances, the injury that he got for a long time, and he was loaned to Fulham. He played there for full season. He came back. They wanted to loan him. He said, "Nah, I want to fight for positioning." And that's exactly what he did. And that's why I call him the fighter. And for him to have come back and then to be able to be getting playing time, hey, Chelsea is Chelsea, and he know what is at stake here. Growing up from the academy to the first team, he knows what is at stake here, and he has been able to fight for positioning, and he's getting the playing time, and he has stepped up since our midfielders got injured. He has always stepped up for Chelsea. And one thing Tuchel transform this guy, and I'm surprised, is no one thought Loftus Cheek could have played in the defensive midfield, and he's been able to do it for a couple of games for Chelsea. And for him to came on in the 46th minute for Kovacic and be able to his movement, moving forward, carrying, taking on players and using his strengths is always something that I like about Loftus Cheek. And for him, he also needs to just add on shooting abilities to his game. Is he's able to shoot balls, and he's very dominant in running with the balls against his colleague midfielders. He's very good at that. And for me, how should I rate him? How should I rate him? I think for him coming back, for him coming on the second half, and for the game to be changed a little bit, I think Loftus Cheek can still improve more in the game, and I rate him seven in this game. I rate him seven. For sure, he needs to do more for Chelsea. He needs to do more for himself. And I understand for him, it was a heart injury on him. So he will still do more for himself, and he know what is at stake here. And I rate him seven on this game. And we are moving to Kai Havertz, the King Kai Havertz. What do you think, guys? King Kai Havertz is a player that has stepped up against Tottenham the last time up, and then got injured. That was a finger fracture, and for him to also played for a couple of minutes with that pain, and Tuchel was able to identify it and then change him. And this game, I didn't expected him to play, but Tuchel said he can play with the fracture, and he has been able to come on in the second half, and he when he came on, he could have scored. He had a scoring opportunities, and he didn't. And I understand sometimes it's just like that. You need to score and it's not coming. I understand that sometimes. And for him to come on and do what he has done and miss a couple of chances, I'm not saying Kai Havertz is bad. He's doing perfectly well. And that game, I expected more for him. He should have netted at least two goals, but he wasn't able to. So I rate him 6.5. 6.5 against Chesterfield for me. He wasn't of his best on that game coming on in the second half. And I understand some players, when they come on like that, it's always difficult for him to give up their best after giving the instances that Chelsea was already leading with VAR match goals. So I understand that, and he can still do more for Chelsea. So 6.5 for Kai Havertz for me on this day. What's up, guys? What's up, guys? What's up, guys? Just doing it for the fans. Just want the fans to be happy. And hey, another academy guy we should be moving on to, and he came on in the 59th minute in place of Pulisic. And this guy is also I've already spoke a little bit about him in the earlier part of this talks, and he always what do you call it, the last game he played against Wolves in the Premier League, and he's a striker. He came on in the 59th minute and replaced Pulisic. And for this guy to have played this game, that's in the person of Harvey Val is a striker, and he's good at that one, and he's from the academy. 19 years, or is it he's 18 years? I think so. He's 18 years old or 19 years. I can, but I think he's 18 years. It's only this guy, Hall, who is 17 years and have been the first younger younger than that to have played for Chelsea, starting lineup and played throughout the game. And I understand Val also came on in the game for Pulisic, and he also did his part. He did very well. He did very well again. Balusi's number of passes on that game, and throughout his half, and it's just like half an hour come on wasn't all that perfect for me. And but then as an academy boy, and for him to have come on and do what he did the game, I think I'll rate him 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10. He can still do more. And the way he played against Wolves, I know he's a good player. And these boys coming up from the academy to the first team like this is going to motivate them in the second league of the game, or second league of Premier League, will be boosting them to perform more for Chelsea. And Lewis Baker. Lewis Baker is also another player who came on in 59th minute for what's his name, for Christensen. Lewis Baker came on the 69th minute for Christensen, and this guy, I just wish he excelled in Chelsea, and he just needs that time. He just needs that time. Louis Baker is also from our academy, and he has been, if you know him, you know him. He's also a good player. Chelsea is using him in defense, but hey, he can also play in the midfield area and can also play wing, and the right wing. He can also play some, because and the last game we saw him coming on for Christensen in the right left back, and he performed very well for me when he came on. But then, hey, Louis Baker is someone that I think he can perform for Chelsea, and he can do his best. Those young players coming back is something that is always okay for me. But hey, they need to pull their gear. They need to fight for positioning, and that's what it's all about. Chelsea fighting for position, and I rate him six out of 10 when he came on. When he came on, he did some number of defensive work and some offensive work, but it wasn't enough to go through. So we are moving on to the next guy, a midfielder. A next guy, a mixed midfielder, Rose Barkley. Rose Barkley came on in the later part of the game too. And believe me, Rose Barkley is someone I always want to excel in Chelsea, but it's not working. It's not working because the couple of chances Tuchel gave him was only one once he performed that I was happy with. But hey, the rest has been something to talk about. But he's a player that I know that injury also worried him, because Chelsea bought him when he had the injury. Immediately when he came on, he gave ball away after coming on. And hey, it's something that I hope he should improve, even if not maintain in Chelsea. But hey, even going somewhere, I always want him to improve, because hey, I don't know what has actually happened to him when he was in Everton. He was a very brilliant player, and playing number 10 role was always absolutely beautiful for him. But since coming to Chelsea. His game has been different, and I hope he gets his feet. And I rate him 6 out of 10 in this game. I hope he didn't actually pull very well for me. And that is the going to the end of the rating for me. And what do you think, guys? What do you think about this? What do you think about the rating? What do you think about Chelsea players, about their performance last game? You can keep the comments going. And if you're new, remember to subscribe, like, and turn on your notification, and you will always be the first person to watch our video. And remember, we'll be bringing you the AFCON Cup of Nations on Facebook live discussion. What do you call it? Ghana versus Morocco is going to be a tough match, and be part of this community is absolutely amazing to be part of, or to be part of you guys and to be part of this community. Thank you for watching, and it was nice having you on this show. Thank you. Bye for now.